So I've mentioned once or twice that I'm a little bit older than the average student at my school. Um, and on occasion, people ask me how old I am because most people don't even think that I'm actually much older than them. So when they do, when they find out that I'm 30, we get the inevitable questions of, aren't you a little bit old for that goth phase? How about that hair? All those tattoos? Really? And then the inevitable question, what's with the kids? When are you having kids? So the really, really quick, simple answer to that question is never. Never having children. And people seem to have a really hard time accepting this. Um, for some reason, on the virtue of my being a woman thing, it's naturally expected that I like kids and want them, and obviously want to birth one into this world, which I, whatever. And I don't. And people are always, why don't you want kids? Isn't that your biological necessity? And then you get the inevitable, because I mean, it always happens. Somebody will always do the tick tock. And it's like, no. My biological clock is fucked up. And I'm really, really happy it is, because not only do I not feel 30, I've never felt the need to procreate, ever. Not once in my life. Um, and people have a really hard time accepting this, and I have a problem with people's inability to accept this. I think the first thing that people have to understand is that it's my choice. If I don't want a child, I don't want a child. It's nobody else's business what comes out of my vagina. Secondly, they always wonder, well, what about your husband? And he doesn't want kids either, as most, well, not most, because I don't want to stereotype, but there's a number of men who also don't want children, who would, kind of get behind me on my decision not to. Um, Reasons for not wanting to have kids. A lot of them have to do with me. I'm selfish. I don't want to spend a lot of money on some snot-nosed little brat that's going to spend 5 years puking on me. Um, I would much rather spend my money on going and doing really cool adventures and, like, seeing the world and not being stuck in a house for 20 years until the child gets the fuck out. I have the greatest sympathy for parents, specifically my parents, because I was a terrible child. But, so that's one reason. I'm selfish. I don't want to spend time on a child. I don't see the necessity of it. Secondly, there's enough kids in this world that are already unloved. If I really did feel the need for a child, I would much rather adopt one, seeing as there's thousands who are not wanted by their parents. Genetics thing doesn't matter. I think it's more important that kids have a loving environment. Which leads me to my next point. It wouldn't be a loving environment. I don't like children. I don't like being around children. I don't like their whiny little voices. I don't like cleaning up people's shit. I'm not down with any of it. No. I can hold a child of a certain age. They have to be above a certain age, because any younger, and no, it's gross. It's gross. I don't want it. But then after an hour, if it makes it an hour before crying, it's just, I'm done. I'm done with that life. I don't want responsibility for that. I've had enough time keeping my cactus alive. I'm not having kids. Um, and then my really vain reason is I don't want to get fat. I like my body. I'm really happy with it. I don't want to have some big protruding thing full of parasite in my stomach. None of that sounds appealing, right? Anyways, that's why I don't want to have kids, and many other people can have many other reasons, and that's cool. I respect anybody who doesn't want children, especially at this point when we have an overpopulation problem in tandem with the overconsumption problem. So, you know what? For all of you other women who don't want to have kids, high five. You rock that shit, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Your body, your choice, you do what you want. Hell with the rest of them. Alright.